good morning or good afternoon. I guess it could be good evening if you're watching this, good day. Either way, thank you for clicking on the video here. Let me tell you, the sun is out today. I'm excited. My spirit is saying, bless the Lord that the sun is out. In fact, I just found out this morning that it's supposed to be like 90 degrees this next week. So if you're here in the Seattle area, get ready. It's gonna get warm, finally. But I'm rejoicing because this is the day that the Lord has made, and I get to come to you today on our Mental Health Monday and share with you just a little bit what God has put on my heart. Because let me tell you, over this last week, in fact, I was trying to remember what was it that we talked about last week on Mental Health Monday. Last week was such a long and difficult week for both me and Abby that I couldn't even remember. You ever have a week like that where it just seems like one thing after another happens, and you wonder what's next? Or you look back and be like, man, that all happened in a week? That's crazy. That's exactly where we're at right now. Where we just look at this last week, and there was so much that got crammed into this last week. I mean, we had ups and downs. I mean, it was an emotional roller coaster, but praise the Lord, we made it through. And sometimes, just holding on and just walking through is all you can do. Showing up sometimes is all you can do. And really, sometimes that's all that is asked of you, is to just show up, right? We feel like we have to go and step into something and have the answers all the time, or have to have a plan all the time. Well, sometimes it's okay to not know what's going to happen. It's okay to just show up sometimes, because honestly, sometimes that's all you can give. So as this week, we're going through these struggles, we're going through these ups and downs. We're looking at what are we supposed to do. I mean, I'm sitting on the couch, kind of give you an idea. I started off the week by slightly dislocating my ankle, trying to, dig dirt, move dirt into our backyard. So just kind of give you an idea. I'm icing my ankle, thinking, okay, God, what is going on here? Why stuff like this happen? And through that seeking, God kind of gave me this analogy that I want to share with you. When I was a kid, I used to love going around like on the playground or at the park and seeing those little furry, fuzzy caterpillars. The ones I'm talking about, the little like brown and orange striped caterpillars. They're just crawling along. They're so cute and so fuzzy. You want to pet them. And you pick them up and you pet them and you put them back. You let them go about their business. I always loved those. But it always intrigued me how a caterpillar becomes a butterfly. Because who doesn't love butterflies? I mean, here in the Seattle area, we have the Pacific Science Center with the butterfly. I don't even know what they call it. It's a big room full of butterflies where they just flutter all around. And I love going and looking at just the beauty of the butterfly and the freedom that they have flying. And just the beauty as they fly freely through the air, going wherever they want to go. And just how amazing that is to think it goes from a caterpillar to a butterfly. And so it got me thinking. I don't know what God brought this to my mind, but He brought this to my mind. Thinking about the caterpillar that's crawling around on the ground, sliding across on its stomach, looking up at the butterfly in the air, saying, man, I really wish I could fly and have that freedom. I really wish I could be like that butterfly, flying freely, fluttering through the air. It's so beautiful. It's so amazing to have that freedom to go where I want to go and to get there a lot quicker than I could just by crawling along the ground. Well, what do we know about butterflies and caterpillars? We know that caterpillars eventually will become a butterfly. But first, that caterpillar must die to itself in its life as a caterpillar. And sometimes in our life, we must die of the habits, the patterns, the things that we've gone through. Everything that we've known. Never mind, all the caterpillar has known is the life of a caterpillar. But in order to become a butterfly, it has to leave behind those caterpillar habits. It has to leave behind that life and those understandings of being a caterpillar. And in our life, for us to get to the next level, to get to where God's taking us, to get to our purpose, to get to our health, our provision, many times, if not most of the time, it requires us letting go of those things in the past, letting go of those habits, letting go of those things that are familiar. Let me tell you, they're familiar, they're comfortable, but you need to let them go if you're going to move into the next stage where you eventually can become a butterfly. So a caterpillar must leave behind its life, its understandings of a caterpillar, and die to itself. And in dying to itself, it doesn't just automatically go to this life of a butterfly. And when we die of ourselves, when we give up the past, when we say, okay, we're going to commit to Christ, we're going to commit to healing, we're going to commit to doing what needs to be done, to have that freedom, to have that beauty, that purpose, it doesn't just happen. There's a process that we must go through. For the caterpillar, that process is the cocoon. It enters into this chrysalis, into this cocoon, where it just gets wrapped up. It's comfortable. It's like obviously, I'm not a caterpillar, not a butterfly. I don't know what it's like to be in a cocoon, but I imagine it's like a big comforting hug of protection. It's a protective, it's a protective cocoon so that they can, metamorphosize from the caterpillar to the butterfly, where it can develop the wings, where it can be transformed into what it's going to be as a butterfly. It's safe. It's protected. And many times in our life, whether you come in for a counseling session or you're walking through life and God's working with you, you're protected. God surrounds you with relationship, or surrounds you with His protection, surrounds you spiritually to protect you so that you can heal, so that you can be transformed, so that you can start to overcome some of those patterns from the past. The cocoon is that time where you can heal, you can rest from the past, you can start to learn how to live and operate without those patterns from the past. But what we need to understand about the cocoon as well is that if the cocoon is temporary, that transforming time is temporary. And if we try to live, if that caterpillar, soon to be butterfly, tries to live in that cocoon, what ends up happening is that environment that was meant for protection, was meant for development, ends up becoming confining and constricting, and actually ends up killing the butterfly. If that butterfly doesn't leave that place of preparation, that place of protection and of metamorphosis, it's gonna die. It has to break out of that cocoon. It has to break out in order for it to fly. It cannot fly and be a butterfly in that cocoon. Just like in your life, in my life, if we're going to become and step into who God created us to be, designed us to be, if we're going to have mental health freedom, if we're going to overcome everything that we faced and step into new life, that requires us to not stay in that place of safety, that place of comfort, because it will kill us spiritually, emotionally, physically, psychologically. It will kill us. We're not meant to stay in the cocoon. The cocoon is there to help us heal, to help us prepare, and to help set us up for the future. So now what's interesting, that butterfly in that cocoon, the cocoon just does not easily give up the butterfly. It doesn't. It's almost like the cocoon fights against the butterfly. In order for that butterfly to get out, it must fight for its life to break out. It struggles. It fights. It's strained to get out of that cocoon. And it must fight and break. And it keeps fighting until it breaks out of that cocoon. The cocoon is defeated, it's broken, and the butterfly flies away. It's amazing, it's beautiful. If you've never seen it, go to YouTube, look up the emergence of a butterfly. Look at videos of butterflies breaking from the cocoon. There's something really amazing about it. But here, let's apply it to you today. For many of you, you're in a time of cocoon. You're in a time of preparation. You're in a time where God is saying you need to move on. And what's happening in your life is you're facing opposition. You're facing struggle. You've done all these things that God has asked for you. You've been faithful. You've been strong. You've prayed. You have other people praying for you. But you just keep coming up against this struggle, this massive struggle that you have to fight against. Time out. Do not be saying, God, why have you forsaken me? God, why is this happening? What have I done wrong? Because you've done nothing wrong. Because here's the reality of the situation. Just like that butterfly, you have to fight to break out of that cocoon, to enter into the beauty, the purpose, the design that God has for you in your life. You must fight to break out of the cocoon. Why? Because just like that butterfly, if that butterfly did not have to fight out of that cocoon, it would not have the strength to fly. Because the reality of the situation is, it is the fight that the butterfly has to go through to break the cocoon that builds the muscles, that builds the strength, that allows him to fly when he leaves. So really, it is the fight that enables flight. The fight to break free enables the flight of freedom when the breakthrough happens. So in your life, what you're going through right now is the fight that will enable your flight into your purpose. It is the fight that will enable you to break free, to not go back. That's the thing. Butterflies never go back to caterpillars. They never go back to the cocoon. They leave it behind. So as you fly in freedom, recognize that what you're fighting against right now is for the purpose of your flight into the future. Your flight into purpose. And as you fly into purpose, you may have just found freedom, or you've been in freedom. Don't try to go back. Don't turn around. Don't go back, because you can't go back. God designed you. God designed butterflies to leave the past behind. You learn from it. You grow from it. You get strengthened by it. You go into the future in your purpose. So let me leave you with this. As you go this week, fly into your purpose. If you're facing a struggle, if you're facing a challenge, don't give up the fight. Because it is the fight that will enable flight. If you want to be like that butterfly flying through the sky of purpose, where people look and see the beauty of your life, continue fighting. Do not give up the fight. Because it will be turned around for your good. It will be turned around for others' good. It will give you a platform and purpose. It will be used. Because it's part of your story. So God bless. Have a good week. Enjoy the sunshine that's coming. But remember, whatever you face, take up the fight that will enable flight. God bless.